Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm Elma. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. So I'm really excited because today's video is going to be another Glossier video. But unlike the last one that I shot that was more in front of a window, very laid back, very soft spoken, I'm here in the studio with all the lights, and I thought I'm gonna challenge the Glossier skin tint to some full glam because everywhere you talk about this, and I was actually initially gonna go for a soft-spoken type video, but I thought no, let's switch it up and let's give this a chance to, step up to the full glam type of life, and I think it's done a pretty good job. So if you want to see this foundation as well as the concealer and the powder in action, definitely keep on watching. I do hope you enjoy it. If by the end of the video you did enjoy it, please hit that like button as well as the subscribe button to join the family, and let's get into this video.
I gotta tell you something I could do.
As you've seen, I've already done my eye makeup. I was initially going for a small thin line. How we got here is still beyond me, but we're gonna push forward. So I have moisturized my skin already, but we're gonna go in with the Glossier Future Dew. So the thing with the Future Dew that I really love is that it is really like this oil serum hybrid that kind of gives you that glass skin but with that extra hydration. So it's one of those products that's a really nice, especially if like me you have dry skin. You're just gonna love how alive and healthy looking and dewy looking your skin is gonna be. I think it's a really nice primer. If however you have oily skin, you might want to pair it with something that might help you combat those oils a little bit more, and maybe just only apply the Future Dew in areas you want to glow. So I would say maybe the high points of your cheek, maybe here might be oily, or here, as you can see, it really gives you that kind of that dew glass skin. We're gonna move on to the skin, and one of the reasons why I wanted to make this more of a full glam is because when you think Glossier, you don't necessarily think full glam, right? What you think about is your skin but better, no makeup, no hassle, probably applies makeup with your hands, and that is their brand, and it does work for a lot of people, and on a lot of days that's how I am as well. However, I wanted to challenge myself and push this foundation, knowing what I'm about to tell you right now about the foundation and seeing how I can use it more as a full coverage foundation. Let's get into the specifics in regard to the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint. So I'm reading off the website because that's where the best information lies. What it is: in the land between bare skin and makeup exists the imperfectible wash of color that is Perfecting Skin Tint. Why it's special: breathable, ultra-thin formula evens out skin appearance for smooth, dewy finish. Diamond powder gives a brightening, soft focus effect and minimizes the appearance of pores, whilst glycerin moisturizes skin. Comes in 12 super sheer adaptable shade that won't hide your freckles, cake your pores, or cover you up. Good to know. It is breathable, enhancing, smoothing, vegan, refining, cruelty-free, dermatologist tested, appreciate for all skin types, formulated without fragrance. And this retails for 32 Canadian dollars on the site. But one thing that I really love about Glossier is their bundle deals. So that is actually what I ended up doing for the purchase of this. I got the bundle deal where you can choose your skin tint and then your stretch concealer. So I did get the concealer as well. And the bundle deal retails for 44 Canadian dollars, but I think initially it's 54 Canadian dollars. The shade that I got for the skin tint is G5, and it is described as a warm, deep shade. The fact that they say that it is an adaptive foundation means that it will most probably cover a wide range of skin tone. Do I think that they should maybe have a little bit more? Yeah, definitely. Since it's something that's more adaptive and is sheer, I see how you can get away with, either or. The thing I would recommend is to know your undertone so you're sure to at least, get the right shade. So we're gonna mix this up. I like how this is, it's kind of like the face and body from MAC, but even smaller, and this is actually just one fluid ounce, which is what you usually get. And I have already played with it and applied it, and like I know what works with it, so we're gonna just jump into that so we don't make this video super duper long. And I like that it comes with a little tubey nozzle type thing, and I'm just gonna apply it over here at the back of this. And one thing I like about this is like you do need to press a little bit to dispense product, so you don't have a whole bunch of product all over the place just squirting all over the place. Anyways, I'm gonna go with my favorite brush, which is the Sephora number 56, which is the Pro Flawless Airbrush. It's my all-time favorite, and I'm just gonna go dip it in and apply it to my skin. I found that that was the best way of applying this foundation. And best application to get the most coverage, I suppose, is to go in stippling motions. When you stipple your foundation over your face, you're really just kind of like pressing in the product into your skin and blending it out so that you get the most, you know, like swiping and moving. You're really building up kind of that coverage, and as you can see, it's really something dewy. So definitely this foundation I feel would be most appreciated by people with dry skin. And I think it's perfect that my skin isn't looking good right now, so we can really see how we can, you know, just build this up. As you can see, it's slightly evened out everything. I still have redness peeking through, but this is really not a full coverage foundation, so I am not really bothered by that because we're gonna get into that eventually. So I'm gonna apply the same amount on this side of my face and just like stipple it as well. A really nice primer I find to pair with this skin tint is the Tatcha Liquid Silk. This is one of my favorite primers. It really gives you baby soft skin, like smooths your whole skin, preps it, basically makes it a blank canvas, and whatever you apply on it is just going to look flawless and beautiful for like a super long time. So I've done the combo of both of them and they work really well hand in hand. So if you own this primer, definitely try this primer with this foundation. And I find that compared to using my Future Dew, that was definitely more or seemingly more coverage when I applied it with that primer. And put a little on my forehead to even out the brow area. And I would say that this is not the foundation to use with beauty sponge or any sort, because it's probably gonna suck up all the product and it's just gonna be wasteful. So either use it with your fingers or use it with a brush, preferably like a packed dense brush or maybe like a small one like this one. There you go. That looks pretty good, pretty even. And I know that right now it looks mad, but don't worry, I'm gonna rescue all this and it's gonna actually look really good. But it's super duper dewy looking. If I haven't said it already, my skin type is dry, and some foundations that really fit me are the Fenty 300, especially during the winter, or 310 during the summer. NARS Syracuse is one that works really well for me as well. MAC NC42, that too works for me. So those are kind of my foundation references. I'll be putting them as well in the description box so it can help you to know if this foundation will be your shade or not. But those are a few that work for me. I also have a playlist on the card with some foundation reviews, so you can, you know, check out, peruse if you're the same foundation shade as me. But this to me works really well, bringing it down to the neck. And now we're gonna move in to the stretch concealers. So like I said earlier, I got the duo of the foundation and the stretch concealer, but I also picked up another stretch concealer because I wanted two different shades. One more for highlighting and another one more for spot concealing, because I knew that this was gonna be like super light. So the one that I got for spot concealing is the one that's the same shade as my foundation, which is G5, and the one that I got for more highlighting is the shade G6. Over here you have G5 and over here you have G6. So with a tightly packed brush, something like this Sephora Pro Airbrush Concealer, the number 57, I will go in with the color G5, that is my shade, and I'm just gonna spot correct what needs correcting. Just apply it directly, dipping in. But before I do that, actually, let's talk about this stretch concealer. The stretch concealer is a buildable concealer that covers everything from dark circle to blemishes and redness with a dewy, glowy finish. Why it's special: adaptable mineral pigments gives brightening effect and blends seamlessly into skin for natural looking coverage. Elastic micro waxes move with your skin instead of caking on top of it. Comes in 12 shades developed to enhance and, most importantly, disappear into wide range of skin tones. Good to know. It is buildable, enhancing, flexible, nourishing, cruelty-free, dermatologist tested, ophthalmologist tested, formulated without fragrances. So G5 is said to be a warm, deep peach, whilst G6 is said to be a deep neutral shade. So we're gonna go in and just apply this where there's more coverage that is needed. And that is how we're gonna build this into more of a full coverage. And again, we're gonna go kind of like in a stippling kind of motion and just work it into the skin. And this is the G5 I'm using, which is basically the same color as my skin. I'm applying it to the places where there are like rednesses and stuff like that. Like over here is gonna be perfect to just camouflage those. I'm actually gonna zoom you guys in so you can really see how my skin is looking up close. One thing about me is I don't really like applying foundation in this area, just because I don't like product buildup, but I'm gonna apply some of the concealer to kind of, you know, get rid of the little darkness that I have here. And the thing that I really like about this concealer, it is aptly named. Like, it is a concealer that you can feel like can stretch, and it doesn't feel like you're disrupting anything underneath. Like, I like this concealer a lot. Like, if you're not really into like huge makeup and all that, you probably are gonna like this concealer as well, especially for those no makeup days. I think it's perfect. I'm just gonna apply that like that, and just like that, just evens out everything a little bit. Just stipple that on. A bit of redness around my nose. Yo fam, it's that time of the month, man. My skin is not happy at all. And there you go. And I am pretty much content with how this looks right now. Then we're gonna move in with the color G6 to highlight. And I'm gonna use the same brush actually. And just dip it in there. To the areas of my face I need, and you can see like it's actually like super hydrating and everything. It's definitely something you're gonna need to set in place, most definitely. You know, I already have a big forehead. I'm proud of it, so I like to enhance it. I'm gonna pour some here to lift the eye a little bit. Just to make sure everything is nice and blended, I'm going back in with my brush that had my foundation on it without adding no extra product. And this is what it's looking like. I'm gonna go in with my sponge. It has nothing on it. I just want to make sure everything is nice and blended together. And it also allows me to remove the excess products, kind of. This to me is looking really, really good. Last but definitely not least, we're gonna be talking about the powder, which is aptly named Wowder. So what it is, a finishing powder that cuts shine, blurs the appearance of pores, and sets makeup. Why it's special: control your level of dewiness with this instant blotting powder won't leave a chalky film, cake into fine lines, flatten skin texture, or show up in flash photos. Apply all over or just under the areas you want to shine less using the angelically soft Wonder brush. I actually got the brush as well. I like how it is because it kind of like really pinched in and then it kind of like fluffs out at the top. So I'm not mad at this brush. Good to know. Refining, mattifying, makeup setting, vegan, cruelty free, dermatologist tested, formulated without fragrance or talc, comes in 5 shades. And the shade I got, so it's interesting because the shade is between a range. So you have G1 to G3 rich, G4 deep. Oh, only G4 has one color. And then you have G5 to G7 medium deep, which is me. And then you have G8 to G10, which is light medium. And then you have G11 to G12, which is very light. In all honesty, I think I should have gotten G8, G10 light medium, especially if I want to use it to set under my eyes and it has like kind of a brightening effect. But I got G5 to G7, which is a medium deep, and I like that it has like kind of like this little sifter thing, so it's not really messy. But what we're gonna do actually is, because I know how this is gonna go, I'm first gonna set my under eye with the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal setting powder. And I'm gonna go in with my sponge this time around. Usually I use a small brush, but for this concealer, I'd rather use a sponge. Because I want to brighten that area a little bit as well. And because I know that the G7 is not gonna brighten that area, it's really just gonna bring everything down kind of, honestly. Very lightly. I'm not really applying, like I'm not really baking because I'm really just setting that area really. When you do this, you really want to make sure that your sponge is nice and damp, but really remove all the water. Now we're going to go in with the powder, and I'm actually going to go in with the brush. As you can see, it does have color to it. And just sweep that right there to remove that shine that I'm then going to bring back afterwards. But what I like, this powder is like really soft. Do you need the brush? No, you definitely don't. But it comes in this like dual thing, and the powder retails for $27, or you could get the Wowder duo, which is what I did, the Wowder plus the Wowder brush, and it was like $45. So there you go. I'm gonna finish the rest of my face and then I'll be back. So there you have it. This is the finished look. I am really happy about how everything turned out to be. You can definitely get some kind of full glam type look with the Glossier skin tint, there's no doubt about it. But obviously, as you saw in the video, the reason why we were able to get this to more of a full coverage was definitely thanks to the concealers. Do I think that you need both concealers? No, you can go for the one that's like exactly your skin tone, or the one that's a little bit lighter so you can like truly highlight. The fact that it's the same kind of consistency, just slightly more buildable than the skin tint, really makes it so that when you blend everything up together in the end, you actually end up really having a nice decent coverage. I really did like the powder. Like I said, I would have liked to have it in a lighter shade, especially if you want to go for, you know, baking and setting under your eye and you want to have that brightening effect. Definitely go a shade lighter. But for all over powder for the skin, I think that it is beautiful. I like how it feels on the skin. It's not super heavy. I feel that the consistency of it is quite similar to one of my current favorites, which is the Hourglass Veil Translucent. It's really light like that, but you can tell that like it's gonna, you know, set everything in place without taking away that glow. It says on the website, like we saw, you know, it takes away some of the shine, but you still have that kind of like glow going on, so you don't totally look matte, but it does set everything in place. And all in all, I'm really happy about how this turned out. I think that this is definitely a foundation that if you are more into full coverage, using the technique I used earlier is the best way to achieve that more full coverageness. But it's also a foundation that I will recommend if, you know, you're into no makeup, because that's what Glossier is all about. Whether you apply it with your fingers or you apply it with a brush and stipple in areas that need a little bit more Help, that is definitely one of those that I find that's really nice. I like how it photographs as well, really beautiful, no flashback or anything like that. I like that this is kind of like in a tubey form, and it's a plastic as well, so it's very kid friendly, very travel friendly. Not that we're going to be traveling anywhere. I would say that maybe the one downside to this, because I did wear this a couple days ago and I was out and about and I had a mask on, and there was a little bit of transfer, not too much because I do have my techniques and my tricks to avoid as much transfer to the mask as possible, but unlike my other foundation that do not transfer much, this one did a little bit, which makes sense. It's more of a dewy consistency. Even though you set it, there's more slip to it. I don't find that it's the most long lasting. However, I do find that when it does fade throughout the day, is one of those foundation that does fade in nicely without leaving you looking like a hot mess by the end of the day. So it's definitely something that I would recommend. I will be leaving below some of my foundation reference shade so it can help you if you have tried this foundation and you have your shade and other foundation matches. Please comment them below so we can help each other out in the comments. And I do hope that this video was helpful. If it was helpful and you liked it, please thumbs it up so I know that you did, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified when I have new videos up. Also, you interacting, commenting, sharing, liking, all those things help me push my content forward into the algorithm. You know, it lets YouTube know, oh, yo, we're interested in this. So be sure to interact with my content, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.